Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review impressions of a knife that was loaned to me by an awesome channel member. Thank you so much for allowing the channel to check this knife out. This is a pretty cool knife. This is a zero tolerance knife. It's the 0801, which is a Todd Rexford design. It's the, I guess they call it, I guess the ZT 0801. It's a Redford, Todd Rexford design in LMAX steel, but this is going to be pretty cool. Let's take a look at that. It has the USN, which I forget what it's part of a gathering network, which is really cool. There were a bunch of knife guys that got together and it became a big old thing. Really cool history. I'll try to see if I have the link for it down in the description. I couldn't find it before we did this review, and I got to finish this up and make sure I get this back to the guy because he allowed me to check this out. So it is a CT knife. You can see that. LMAX steel, USA made. This is a Todd Rexford design. Now, this is serial number 0002. Do you see that? The one who has 0001 is Todd Rexford. This one was number 2. And this was given to the channel member who did some network work for the guy and helped set up his I guess his house or his business, whatever, which is pretty stinking cool. So he gave him this gift. Beautiful green anodization here. Love that on here. So that's obviously a very unique. It does have T8 here and T6 is over here. I believe it's KVT ball bearings. I can't quite tell. Now, one thing that I think is pretty interesting, it does have a very late detent. So, you know, it's not my favorite. You clear the detent all the way down here. You're not clearing the detent till you're here. And it's in there pretty tight. There's no blade play whatsoever. It's not my knife, so I can't adjust anything. I wouldn't dare think of doing it. It's beautifully centered. It's a big, thick boy for sure. It's got 3 standoffs in the back, which is pretty amazing. Nice flipper. I've got some great jimping on here, which works really well. It reminds me a little of Rick Hinder there with the flipper there. Beautiful milling texture on the scales. Nice chamfering all the way around. No sharp spots. Frame lock, you can see that. Steel bar insert. Looks like there's an over travel stop. Do we have that? Yeah, we do have an over travel stop in there. Let's see. Yeah, there's an over travel stop. Steel clip, which if you wanted to, I believe you can replace that, get another one. Does have a lanyard priority, so you can put a big old lanyard in there if you're a big fan of that. It's a slicer blade. This reminds me a lot, almost like of a Rick Hinder design, right? But it's Todd Rexford, and it's got the beautiful swedge on top, which is nice for cutting. Pretty thick blade, pretty thick tip, robust tip there. This will definitely be a great work knife. I mean, you'll be able to cut some dog food, cat food, mulch fertilizer. They still sell this. So this particular one is obviously very much a collection piece. It's number 02, so it's not one that I've done anything with because I want to be very careful with this knife. This is just a very special knife to get to check out, and it's really cool, especially to see such an early serial number, and that the fact that the knife was given to Rocky by Todd Rexford himself for doing some network stuff. I think that's just amazing. I think it's simply amazing. I love that. I love that. I love that. Now, there's no milling on this. It's a little heavier. I don't know about the newer ones if they're milled out. Lockup is a good 50%. It's solid, no blade play, obviously. Once you clear that T10, it does drop, but you definitely have a little double clutch thing going on here. You know, definitely feels like a little older design as far as that's concerned, but it still works. Now, do I have a reverse bonus? No, it's in there. The detent's really good. And there's no movement, no play, so you don't have a bonus flick. It's a flipper only. Flips well. It's got a nice action on the flipper because the flipper tab is above the center of axis, so that gives it a little leverage for nicer deployment. Definitely gives it some snap, which is cool. Now, yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, it's definitely a collection piece, and it's an older design, so I appreciate it for what it is, and I appreciate it for the history of the knife. I appreciate all that, and that's really stinking cool. Now, I wish there's a few things I would change in the newer versions. Obviously, a little milling on the titanium scales. I would remove a lot of weight. It would be cool if that detent ball didn't clear all the way down there. I mean, that's really far because you're almost at the point where you're going to have that blade drop on you, and it's going to guillotine. So, but again, this is an impressions of a very unique collector's piece, and so take everything with a grain of salt because I suspect that Todd Rexford probably did his own anodization on this blade, the scales, I'm sure. So, you know, that's pretty stinking cool, I think. Really, really cool. All right. So that's a little bit about the knife, the designer, the materials, titanium. I mean, we did confirm that, titanium scales, right? It is not steel liners. It's a frame lock, steel bar insert, steel. Now, notice it is reversible. So left hand tip up, you can definitely carry it. That's really, really cool. You can definitely see the United something network. I forget what it's called. It's gonna. I'll definitely be in the description down below. Can't quite remember at this point, but very, very, very cool design. I'm really appreciative to the member allowing me to check this out, to be able to handle it. You know, I'm not going to do anything crazy with it. I haven't cut anything. I just enjoy feeling the action. Definitely a nice cutout here. You definitely have access chamfered there. That does work pretty well. Just got to make sure you clear that flipper for it to drop. I think it's on there pretty tight. I might loosen it up because it feels like this would be drop shutty if it wasn't so tight for whatever reason. And that double clutch is just a challenge for me. Not a fan of that. But again, I'm checking out a collection piece, and I think that is pretty stinking cool. And I like that. I like it a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. So that's what we're doing. We're checking this out. All right, so we talked about the cutaway, we talked about the frame lock, we talked about everything. Let's go ahead and do a little measurements. Let's get the weight on here, and you'll see it's not a light knife. It isn't. It's got some weight to it. So let's do that. Yeah, let me see if we put it north of the center. 5.9 ounces, almost 6 ounces. That is not a thin light knife. That is a big boy. All right, so 5.9 ounces. Let's do the overall measurement and the length on this knife. So we're looking at a knife that is just over 8 inches, about 8¼ inches. The overall handle length, if we go here, it's about 4 inches. If you go to the back here, you could sort of do the finger choke up. I'd be very careful about that. But, I get to give you 4.5 inches. Overall cutting length from the tip to the scales is about 3.5 inches. Your overall cutting length is going to be about 3.5 inches. So you definitely get some there. Now, I can get to the blade stock thickness here, so let's do that and measure that with our caliper. All right, so let's see where we're at. So 157 thousandths of an inch. So it's a thick blade. It's not a thin one. Certainly has some meat to it. It is an LMAX blade steel, which is pretty cool. Not steel you normally see. ZT for a while was doing nothing but 20 CV. They're starting to do some MagnaCut, which I think is pretty stinking cool. Yeah, so I like the LMAX. I like it. It's definitely a slicer, flat grind. This reminds me a lot, like I said, I've said this already. It feels like a Hinder slicer blade, which is very similar. It probably was a very common blade shape back then. Definitely a drop point. Really cool, really cool. All right, so that is the blade shape. What does this cost? Well, I think the normal price is around $200. Some of the versions were almost just shy of $300. I suspect because this is from Todd Rexford himself, number 2 was anodized by him. I suspect this one's going to be a little more expensive. Probably going to be what we consider a high-end knife. But plain Jane, without any extras, this is normally a regular knife. It's under the $300 range, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool. All right, so EDC. Can you carry? Absolutely. I think, could you hard use it? You could for a folding frame. I wouldn't go out and beat on sticks and try to axe anything like that, but you could. Is it a collection piece? This particular one is absolutely 100% a collection piece. This was given to him by Todd Rexford himself. It's number 2. So this is one of those knives you might technically, keep in your collection, but you might not carry a whole lot, or you might make it a safe queen. I don't know. Pretty cool knife, though. I'm just excited to get a chance to check it out. So the design. I like the chamfering all the way around. It's comfortable. There's no sharp spots. Everything's pretty comfortable. Even the clip here kind of loops around, nice curved. Everything's great. You can reverse flick it. I like the flipper. The flipper works really well, but that's the only deployment. There's no thumb stud or anything like that. There's no fuller hole. It works well. It works well. All right, so opening and closing is nice. It's a little tight on the closing. I would like to see at some point maybe tune that, because I don't like it being so stiff. This is a little stiff. I would like to loosen it up. It makes it a little more comfortable. I think, it is what it is, and so it's a safe queen. But that would make the knife just a little bit more comfortable. All right. Fidget factor. It's a flipper only, so I'm going to give it a 2. It's definitely a 2. Now, what makes it really cool is the collection, the safe queenness of the being anodized by Todd Rexford and being given to Rocky by Todd Rexford. I think that's super cool. So you get a 2 out of the fidget factor. Now, out of that fidgety goodness, does it execute the flipper well? Yeah, it does. It executes that well. Now, is the closing really smooth and easy? Nah, it's not. You know, the reality is this knife is going to be probably like an 80, maybe an 85. I'll give you a solid B for its fidgety goodness. It's not horrible. It's not great. All right, so that's the reality. Is it recommended? I don't know if there's one that's a little different like this. I mean, it's definitely interesting. I'm not a fan of this design, but I think it's a really great quality knife. And I think if you can find it, and I saw some online that were definitely available, it's going to be a cool knife. Am I going to recommend it? Is this something I'm going to jump over? I can't really recommend it or not recommend it. Okay, so I'm kind of ambivalent to it. And the reason why I'm ambivalent, because it's more of a collection piece and it's something shared. So it's really more of an impressions video. And it's not really a hard use knife as far as I'm concerned. This is more of a collection piece. And so I'm really honored to have shared it. But I would definitely say that this is not something I'd go out of my way to recommend, but I'm not going to say I don't recommend it, right? So I'm ambivalent. You're not going to get a recommendation, but you're not going to get I'm opposed to it. I think if you like the design, you love the aesthetics, you love the action of the ZT, get it, go for it. But if not, then, you know, it may not be for you, right? So there you go. All right. If you have any questions about this or you disagree with me, you think I'm an idiot, please comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I very much appreciate getting a chance to check this out. I think it's super cool. I think the history alone is worth the amazing awesomeness of being able to check it out. I love the fact that the colors, the anodized, I love the history behind it. I love the United, whatever network that is. I can't remember. There'll be a link in the description, but super, super cool. I'm very honored to have checked this out. I think it's definitely cool. And if you like the design, go for it. Go. You know, get what you love. I'm not gonna, you have to decide what you like in your collection. And that's ultimately your decision. And I can tell you how I feel about it. And if any of those things are important to you, it might make or break your decision. But if they're not, then there you go. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys watching. If you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, entertaining, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel, allows me to produce more content, do more things, and grow, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you very much to every one of you. That is super awesome. All you channel subscribers who watch the content, who like, subscribe, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And you don't have to become a member, but I just want to let you know there's a chance to become a member. Check out the description. If you're on the fence, you thought, hey, I don't know if I want to be a member just yet, check it out. I do a once a month giveaway. I give a sticker to everybody. And then if you're, you know, like an uber nerd, top tier, then you get a special sticker and there'll be exclusive early release content, you know, different things like that. So, you know, something worthwhile considering. And if you don't want to be a member, don't worry about it. Just enjoy. I appreciate you enjoying the content. But if you do want to become a member, I would love to have you. I would be very honored, and it is in the description. So thank you to every one of you guys. Oh, real quick before we leave, let's make sure we get some nice close-ups of this. Look at that beautiful anodization and the blade. All right, so let's look at the back with the ZT clip and everything. Beautiful blade. Yeah, I think that's super cool. All right. If you haven't already, maybe check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.